Hello, everybody. Partyfoot here. Wanted to try something a little bit different this time, taking a look at the patch notes for the new season together. So we're just finishing up season 3, I think, of Mechabellum. I'm totally a noob about the seasons. I mean, I played the game before there were seasons a bit, I guess, initially, and then now I'm just kind of playing again. But yeah, looks like a nice seasonal format. Could herald a reasonably large balance change periodically, which is always fun. Let's see what they're going to go for with this change today. So, greetings, commanders. 2 major updates coming out. That's great. Frames and emoticons and unit skins. All those things are not bad to have in the game. Especially some of the cool, colorful ones, which are kind of striking. Like red. I like red fangs, for example. Mountain is coming out. So the large kind of fortress-like unit from the kind of free-for-all brawl mode is coming to the single player, which is pretty interesting, pretty tanky. That looks like they've been testing it, and maybe it needs to be a little bit less tanky and a little bit more damage. It's got upkeep like some of the other super giants, whatever they are called. Does it say? No, I can't see that there. But yeah. It has an upkeep, so it's going to be expensive. It's going to be late game. It's going to be big and carry full, I guess. We can reduce the maintenance. We can give it anti-air. This mountain plating I had heard was quite good. This is, I think, basically armor, but the value is extremely high compared to armor. Armor blocks 60 damage, and this is blocking 1,000 or now 700. So that seems really crazy. I mean, there are things like marksman that, like low-level marksman, won't be able to actually really even hurt it if it has that much armor, which, one may have naively considered to be a DPS category unit. So that one seems good and strong. I guess you'll need, real anti-giant, anti-massive stuff to bring that down, like your melters. Makes sense. Farseer is also no longer a restricted unit. Okay. Added attack and made it less DPS overall, so I think it's got more damage, but this is like a 20% nerf, right? So it's definitely going to be worse overall in terms of damage. And also, attack interval is better than direct damage in a lot of cases, I feel, because, if you shoot at especially with Farseer, I mean, now with the slower attack speed, maybe it won't strike the same target twice as much as it used to. But certainly, targeting can become an issue if your attack interval gets longer. A burst mode. That's quite interesting. That's quite cool. And 250. It's very hard to know the exact math. I mean, what is it? Farseer normally shoots 2 missiles, does it? So this is 6 times damage. I mean, it'd be nice to try that out. So it seems super cool and fun, that's for sure. Electromagnetic explosions more expensive. This is really good. I mean, yeah. I can see why making that a little bit more expensive would make sense. New music. Awesome. We'll see how that one goes. Awesome. Yeah. Putting a lot of work into this game still from the dev team. Really nice. Getting, good quality improvements to the game over time as well. Community support. Lovely. We all love that sort of stuff. 4-player brawl. They've rebalanced all the neutral unit setups. Okay, so the AI that you face is going to have a whole bunch of different stuff, and maybe some of the worst ones are going to be... I haven't played for a little while, but I do recall sometimes just coming up against maybe the hacker one. I can't... It's probably outdated knowledge, so, don't judge me. But I feel like there was a hacker one back in the day that would just, hack your entire army immediately, and you'd be like, oh. And it was like you weren't even the one who was winning, so you were like, oh, well, I guess got nuked, I guess. Maybe that's one they're buffing. Maybe for players who aren't so challenged, it's actually not a big deal at all. We'll see. Significantly increased supplies obtained with skipping unit reinforcements. Yes, there was nothing like going for some cool dedicated strategy in that brawl and feeling like you were trying to min-max this this deliberate strategy, and then the unit drops here's 4 melters, and you're like, well, I'm not going to not take 4 melters if the alternative is to take 50 gold or money or whatever. But 4 melters basically changes my board focus. I'm going to now have to, I'm going to need to give them melter range, surely, right? I could start selling them, but then it's going to take 4 turns to sell them all. melters are good. Like, so it just kind of took away my agency a little bit in what I was trying to do, I guess, not having a skip option that was viable. So that's quite nice. Wasp's armor piercing is getting cheaper. Okay. I don't know if that's good. I don't think it's very good. Ground spec is good. Aerial spec is good. I think armor piercing does maybe less than both of those individually. I don't know. Maybe you could go for all three. You may have seen. Oh, did I? Oh, yes. Unfortunately I had a replay from before. I may still do commentary for it, but I had a replay before the patch came out where I had carry wasp, which went really, really well. Improved carry wasp. Maybe I should do a commentary on that. I'll see if how badly the replay is broken. We'll see, because that would be cool to see. And I do take aerial and ground spec, but not armor piercing. So I think elite marksman would probably have been a good choice, which I don't currently run on my wasps. Phoenix overload launcher overload, perhaps. Down by 50. I mean, it's still pretty expensive, but this is pretty good. Like if there's not a lot threatening the Phoenixes, because the range reduction is pretty harsh, obviously, in a kind of longer range duel. Typhoon nerf. They're making the Typhoon more expensive to level up. Yeah, I don't know. I find it really hard to judge the strength of a Typhoon. I feel like when you have level 1 Typhoons, they suck. Maybe higher level Typhoons are quite good, in which case this is... Yeah, it seems like they are, because suddenly they start kind of just being unstoppable, right? And like they don't die to big hits, and you're like, huh, they're still coming. So I guess level Typhoons are pretty good, so they're seeing that and adjusting that. Fortress is getting a little bit less attack and nerfs the rocket punch, but the tanky upgrades and some of the random carry attack damage fortress upgrades are getting better. So I guess if you go for this kind of carry, if you want to try this carry fortress, like ranged double shot rapid firing fortress with range type thing, that's going to be maybe way better, even though the damage is going down by a little bit overall. But maybe overall a nerf to the current like common strategies for fortress. I don't think I see these particularly much, or even armor, honestly. Fang armor piercing bullets down and ignite down. Cheaper fangs is always nice. I do use armor piercing, I think. Maybe I should swap back to ignite. Ignite's more useful on its own, but my fantasy of doing carry fang is only possible if I keep running armor piercing bullets, because what if I have 10 units of level 5 fangs with range and mech range? I can't not have the armor piercing, right? Yeah, I don't know how much that's going to happen. Arclight armor is cheaper. That's awesome. This 100 is like approachable now, because you can't. Yeah, 100 is like the cost of a cheap unit. The 50 doesn't come out so well in the woodwork in the early game. So maybe you could armor up your Arclights in the initial rounds potentially now with that. Stormcaller anti-tank shells are more expensive. It seems cheap. I think people were liking that. Overload is also getting cheaper. 300 is so expensive. I mean, I think... Does this reduce their range too? I think it does. I run this. I tried it the other day, and it just makes them suicide into the enemy lines. I think I also got Assault Stormcaller. I was being eccentric, alright? Anyway. High Explosive also getting cheaper, so maybe that's going to be a viable alternative. I like these being slightly mirrored. It kind of has a nice symmetrical feel. Sandworm aerial range now has plus 20 range. Does this mean that they have 20 range against ground targets too? Like their body sticks out of the ground more? I can't, thematically that makes sense to me. Interesting to know if this then is basically not really anti-air, but it's sandworm range with anti-air. Maybe. I mean, if it is that's cool. I don't know what that means for it. I mean, I guess it probably won't submerge as much, because more stuff will be within its reach, and maybe you want it to submerge as much as possible to break locks and confuse the enemies and, burrow maintenance and, replicate and all those other things that it does when it ducks. So maybe more range is just bad. Like maybe this is like a nerf to the ground if you go for the aerial, but then it can clear wasps without taking 6 months or something. I don't know. Mech Rage getting cheaper and better. I mean, cool. Maybe we can see more aggressive sandworms. Abyss. I have never really used Abyss yet, so I don't know exactly what this vertical sweep does not seem good, though. I will say that. Fire Badgers. Ignition. Is that the Ignite one? I presume? Half price? 3 guys shooting it? I mean, I don't know. I think I heard that, like, for example, Fangs apply Ignite differently to Vulcans, for example. Like, they have a on-hit chance rather than a 100% chance. If Fire Badgers are 100%, then, I don't know, maybe if they lock on to something big, it's nice to be able to just grab Ignition. Liquid Fire, that's the one that, like, leaves burning ground on the ground, so that's probably really strong. So, making it not make our units as weak as it did, that's quite good. Vulcan Armor down. Okay, I don't know. Crawler, Acid Explosion down. Making some of these less common picks maybe a bit more competitive is nice. A lot of the more quite good techs that are new are reasonably competitively priced, so I think it makes sense to maybe help some of the older ones. Rhino field maintenance down by a lot. Yes. Gonna carry rhinos. I also played another bad game where I stubbornly was going carry rhino, like, tank regenerating armored rhinos with, like, there might have been just that, but into hacker. I got a unit drop of, like, 2 nice rhinos and was like, here we go, I'm flanking them, and it was super good flank and everything, but the opponent already had hacker, and then he got more hackers, and the rhinos were, I'm pretty sure I got like 6 of them. Anyway, rhinos are cool, alright? Scorpion also has field maintenance and armor reduced. Scorpions are, start with a lot of HP, so maybe you could make some super crazy tanky Scorpion with that. Seems super overpriced that you would ever get it unless you're getting a lot of... Maybe you'd get a lot of Scorpions sometimes, I don't know. Hound. Fire Extinguisher getting better. Now clears smoke. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like Fire Extinguisher. It seems like a strong, unique upgrade that means that, you can use Hounds as a utility option later in the game. Super cool. Quick reload getting cheaper. Is that how much it costs? Am I really paying 300? I should really take this off my bar. Even with this change, I don't think that's so good. Ionization. Okay, so more damage on the ionization tech of the Raiden to take down some of these big boys. Some basic stats nerfs to the Overlord, but the tanky Overlord is getting buffed in terms of price. That's nice. These were the original techs that I used to rock on the Overlord back when this game started and be like, heh, and everyone was just building loads of those small Overlords everywhere. Now they're more expensive and take more room, so they're slightly less spammable. Although, I think, with Jump Drive, still a very interesting unit. Phantom Ray Splash Modifier. Does this, there needs to be like a note here that says, this will mean that it can hit 2 sledgehammers at once or something, right? Because this may be a breakpoint, but I don't know. Like, is this mean that sometimes it will hit an additional crawler? Or does this mean that, like, you're getting all the Hounds in one shot, Like, could be a big difference. The price is doubled, so, I mean, one presumes that maybe maybe the price at 100, it was too good or something, I don't know. Death Knell, I don't really see those much because they're in the multiplayer brawl only. The multiplayer brawl is good, and I played it a lot. I played it exclusively for a couple seasons, so not to knock on it. Death Knell, I've won a game of brawl, I think, with a unbelievably big Death Knell, but they're making it smaller. Ironically, less HP, literally smaller, less upkeep. That's nice. The upkeep, on those various units, you always felt. I don't know. I don't like the debt, Paying off interest is brutal. So, yeah. The minimum upkeep as possible, and I'm probably quite likely to take the efficient manufacturing or efficient maintenance or whatever it is to remove those upkeeps too. War Factory, upkeep going down too. It's getting a little bit less tanky, so maybe that's going to help with some of the random War Factory buy strategies, which I hear are quite popular with people who are actually good at this game. Attack power going up by a lot, though. My gosh, this is just going to start it's already one-shotting a lot of stuff, but there's probably a lot more stuff that's suddenly just going to get evaporated. More Phoenixes, cheaper high explosive, but the overall production of chaff is reduced. Okay, so less of this like production factory strength. It does seem like, you know, production factory is kind of do everything. It's quite expensive, but remove the Farseer specialist, so we can't get the Farseer for free on round 4 anymore. I guess with the ability to unlock it, sure. Okay. Reinforcement. So these are our cards that we pick from. Orbital Bombardment's more expensive and can't be picked multiple times. Missile Strike is considered more expensive, a higher level card. Earliest, so a delay on Underground Threat. I mean, crawlers seem not that bad early, but this is nice and this is nice. I kind of hate just losing to a spell pick from a card. You know, like Missile Strike is like when I first started, whatever, Missile Strike. Missile Strike's good. You can take out some Mustangs with that. You can force shields with this. If they didn't expect it, like, you know, you can literally always get wasps with it. They have to go shield if they want to keep their wasps alive. If you have missile strikes, that's so rude, you know. Or I mean, you can also beacon actually. A lot of these spells can not be picked multiple times. I think getting them the first time is probably the part where they're super strong. Getting them twice, yeah, sure. I mean, my opponent just won 2 rounds because Iron Blast came twice or Orbital Javelin came twice and sniped my carry. But like, I think even the first time being like, oh, I'm winning this game on a strategic level, on a tactical level, and then this strategic thing comes in and just, you know, arbitrarily kind of swings it back. Although it is nice to have the back and forth. So, you know, maybe it's good for disrupting a dominant position to have at least some impact coming out of these guys. The impact is high, though, I think, for a lot of them. Acid Bomb, maybe a little bit less unless the placement is crazy and people forget to shield. I guess you have to respect it, is what I'm saying. Haste Module. Okay, so that's basically all those spells, just not being able to be spammed quite so much. Improved Fire Control System. Slightly reduced attack modifier. Okay, so then I'll see these items getting nerfed. Less on the attack for the haste as well. Yeah, that's sad. Amp Core is getting more expensive. Is Amp Core good? Maybe I just don't know what the value is and I'm confusing it with the Amplifying Specialist because their Amp Cores are only like 10% or something. Portable Shield's getting more expensive. That's actually, I think, pretty good, right? Still, that is a lot more money overall for these items. Super heavy armor, like 5% is not a lot. It seems not that impactful. It's something, but enhancement module is getting us more. Oh, instead of attack, it's getting HP. Oh no, sorry, no, it's doing both. I can see. It's making it better, but it's more expensive. Okay, more emphasis on the stats, less emphasis on the selling it for more money. Yeah, I mean, fair. It's always kind of sad when you get an enhancement module and you've got this unit and you're kind of emotionally invested in it, you know, just because things are cool. And you know, you've got your leveled up saber and it's like, you get the enhancement module and it's like, yeah, okay, obviously the players have put it on there, level it up, sell the thing for lots of money, get another unit, level up something else as well with the enhancement module that gets back into my hand. But I don't want to sell my saber. Stop influencing me. This is good. I think maybe make it a little bit less efficient, a little bit more stats. And it looks like they're maybe helping with some disconnects. We obviously don't like disconnects, and some bug fixes. Game freezes, display issues. Well, lovely patch overall, it looks like. I'm not 100% sure about some of the changes to spells. Like, it's still going to feel like spells are pretty strong, I think, but maybe just those, like, side cases where everything went absolutely crazy won't happen. But maybe, see, I don't know. Like, if the nuke already goes, oh, everyone has to pick the nuke and we nuke each other, sure, I mean, maybe you can just mutually nuke each other, I guess. So, you know, that's one thing. But sometimes these things affect some boards much more than the others. So if you can already kind of disrupt the game so heavily, why not allow the craziness? And then you could be like, yeah, I hit this game where I dropped 6 nukes, you know? Like, I don't know how you don't win in that scenario, but maybe your opponent is picking that up too, or maybe your opponent's board is not actually good for being nuked, or they're doing smart stuff with jump drive or something. You know, I mean, it's cool though. Yeah, okay. Having epic stuff is nice. bunch of changes to these giants. Durability overall getting cheaper is interesting, so, you know, maybe some more armored stuff and regeneration in the future. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is Partyfoot with a slightly different video doing the patch review. Yeah, appreciate anyone who watches.